Thank you for tuning into the From Moses to Mookie podcast. Today, I want to talk a little bit about a major problem that I'm seeing across baseball, across all levels of baseball, really, but especially at the Major League Baseball level. You see, from 1947 to 1984, the amount of black players in the league grew exponentially. You see, in 1947, the amount of players represented 0.9% of the population. Again, that's the year that Jackie Robinson broke into the league, broke the color barrier. And then 1984, when you have really a peak in black baseball population. In 1984, black players represented 18.4% of the league. 18.4%, that's a significant amount of the league. Of the 26 teams, you could have fielded about five of them, that were only made of black players. That is a lot of black players. However, since then, from 1984 until 2016, according to the Society of American Baseball Research, it has dropped. It has just dropped seriously. It has dropped from 18.4% in 1984 to 6.7% in 2016. 6.7%. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I started to realize that this is a trend, not as I was watching Major League Baseball games. I mean, I saw it when I was watching Major League Baseball games, but I really saw it when I was in high school. See, because when I grew up, baseball has been a part of my identity for as long as I can remember. I played coach pitch, played kid pitch, middle school baseball, high school baseball, played 1 year of travel ball, played 2 years of American Legion baseball, played 1 year in junior college, and now I've finished up my second year playing club baseball at Appalachian State. Black players are decreasing across all levels. And they're not just decreasing in number, but the development of them stagnates at some point. I don't know where that is, but I remember as a kid that I was playing. I played for my dad in a rec league, probably in between middle school, high school, and we played this one team. They were the Sharks. They wore gray and they wore red, and I think every single player on that team was black, and that team was the best team I think I've ever faced at any level. I think that they were probably the number one team if you were to compare it across levels. So they were the best of the competition in that league and so on and so forth. They were the absolute best. Those same kids played for inner city high schools, played for two of them specifically. And at that point, they were considered one of the worst. And so their growth stagnated because baseball, since over the last 40 years, 35, 40 years, has shrunk significantly baseball in these black communities. Instead, communities are favoring and pushing kids more into basketball, more into football, into other sports that aren't baseball, which is strange because there's nothing about Major League Baseball that's black or white or Latino. There's nothing about the game that favors one or the other. But for some reason, black kids are leaving the game at an earlier age and are no longer developing into Major League prospects. The ones that come from different backgrounds than the ones who do not. And I'll get into that a little bit more later on. But again, just reemphasizing this point, there's some of the best players in the league last year were black. Lorenzo Cain, he was considered one of the best by some of the sabermetric experts at MLB Network. He was considered one of the best players in the league. Mookie Betts won the Most Valuable Player award. David Price was absolutely lights out in the World Series. So the best players, and again, these players make a lot of money too, so it's not like there's no money involved in baseball. There's more incentive from a money standpoint to go play baseball than there is to go play basketball or to go play football. From a money standpoint, you can make significantly more money playing baseball. But for some reason, baseball is no longer a staple in black identity the way it was in the 1940s, the way it was in the 1930s, even going into the 1980s. And part of that is because the Negro Leagues in the 1930s and 40s was seen as more of a community aspect, and I'll get into that a little bit later on as well. But it's important to note that black people and baseball, for very few of them, or for at least a declining portion of the black community, baseball is not as big in identity as it was anymore. So my friends that I played with in high school that typically, I played on a team in a conference where the majority of teams were rural, not as many black students, so therefore not as many black players. But it translates to other places as well. You see college baseball, similar statistics, similar decline in black population to the major leagues. It is astonishing. It is disappointing because I don't believe that Major League Baseball is taking enough steps to really focus on, let's make sure that we are not excluding a certain demographic. And right now, it really appears there is. So in these next couple of segments, we're going to get a couple of these reasons. One of these reasons is for the fact that the Negro Leagues were a major part of black communities, that there were black legends that inspired others, that the cost of baseball as well has skyrocketed recently, especially with the travel ball culture going on in youth athletics and youth development. And also, it can't be understated the importance placed on recruiting Latino talent and making deals and signing them to contracts as opposed to drafting top college prospects. And then I'll get into ways that I believe that the MLB can really get baseball back into black communities, where we've seen that people love baseball so long as it's in the right environment, so long as it's by the right people in the right places. Baseball is not biased racially towards white people, towards Latino people, towards black people. But right now, it seems as though black people are being excluded. So go ahead and keep on listening to the next couple segments where I will get into more of the reasons to why this is happening, and later on how we as people, how I as a baseball fan, how I as a hopefully future father, hopefully a future coach, and just as a white person in society can understand why identity and baseball are drifting apart in the black community.